Okay, so we're doing a video on our picks for the Tahiti Pro on just the winners. There is bets on heats. This video is sponsored by Bet Online, but we're gonna do our picks. Mahina was just down in Tahiti doing some stuff for the Olympics, for the pre-show and stuff. So she met some of the athletes, and then we're gonna start with the forecast, which looks pretty bad. Per usual with WSL events, the forecasts don't always pan out. The waves were firing just before, and the forecast is pretty dire. But from my opinion and what I see on the forecast, it'll be inside ledge. The conditions are good and clean. I think there'll still be barrels, and guys will be still competing in barreling conditions. But there'll probably be hits on the closeout end and some waves that are just turns, and maybe depending on how they run, there is a little bit swell forecast on the 16th, 15th, 16th, 17th. So if they wait and have that, it might be a little bit bigger, a little more size. And with that, we are going to choose, I'm just going to go who I think is potentially going to win the event, and then who might be best for the odds, in my opinion. John and Jack, based off experience out there, they're just so comfortable. Backside barrels, not a problem. That being said, it's going to be smaller backside barrels, which complicates things. If it's big and open, no hand pumping, all that, they can technically ride barrels pretty equally. But because it's going to be smaller, I think goofy footers are going to have a better time. And Gabriel, obviously, is a great barrel rider. So those guys have huge potential to win events, and they're kind of just event-winning surfers, right? But based off bets and what I think local knowledge, Matji Roulette, I see plus 2,000 on his odds, and he lives and breathes chopes. He's a goofy footer. He's technical in barrel riding, and he can do some turns and stuff if he has to. But I think he'll be able to get scores when a lot of other guys are going to be unable to get scores. And then, of course, there is the, if I'm betting, I'm pretty risky, so I see the plus 10,000 odds, and I'm the type of guy that maybe just throw 10, 15, 20 bucks on that just because. I mean, look what happened with, we did that video before for the Eddie, and Luke Shepardson had the plus 10,000 odds. Mm-hmm. And he ends up winning the Eddie. So if you had bet on Luke that day, he would have come up huge.
Who has a plus 10,000?
So in the plus 10,000 odds, you have Ian Gentile, Liam O'Brien, and Callum Robson. And out of those, Ian is good in barreling waves, but I think he's a regular footer, so it's going to be kind of tough. Liam O'Brien, I swear he had a run at pipe last year, and so Callum Robson, I'm just not sure. He had that one big barrel at Portugal this year, but if I were to want to risk a smaller bet for a bigger reward, I might just go Liam O'Brien or Ian Gentile. And so, babe, your picks for the men's?
I mean, we pretty much had similar picks to win the contest. John, Jack, Gabriel, Matji, if it's solid.
I would say Kali Vass too.
Yeah, Kali Vass.
He's right in the middle on the odds, and he's goofy foot.
Yeah.
And he's not a super big dude. So if it's smaller technical inside ledge barrels.
I feel like if it's going to be smaller, though, like that mid-range, Felipe Toledo, I think could do well.
Joao, yeah. Joao too is really good, but backside also out there. So if conditions are good, he's a good barrel rider. Mm-hmm. But if not.
Let's move to the women.
Okay, women, I'm going to go based off local knowledge right away because of where I would base my picks in the women's off of who has had time and experience in barreling waves. So Carissa Moore, obviously a world champion. She's a heat surfer.
Local knowledge is Vahine Fair.
I know, but I'm just saying in barreling waves, she competed at pipe multiple times, and so she has experience in barreling waves. So you want to base your picks off, hey, if it's barreling, if it's small, can they ride barrels technically? And like you said, off local knowledge, Vahine Farrow, and we see a plus 1600 Alan Vast or
Ellen.
Alan Vast, Kali Vast's younger sister. And they surf tropes together. I've been there every year pretty much for the last 20 years and watched Kali and them as they came in about 10 years ago, grew up surfing. So they've been surfing chopes for a very long time over there and have a lot of experience. So local knowledge is going to play big, especially if the conditions are small and tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And then Caitlin Simmers, Molly Picklum, two young up-and-coming girls. And I surfed with Caitlin Simmers, I'm pretty sure, at the box in Australia, and she was not afraid of any kind of heavy slab that was happening that day. So it was super impressive. Good pick and middle of the odds.
You know who does extremely strong turns too is Tatiana Weston Webb.
If they're doing turns.
If they're doing turns. Say it's not, but because if it's small, is it
Yeah.
always going to be barreling?
No,
That's
they
the
might
thing.
be doing turns,
It
yeah.
could, if they're doing turns, I would throw Tatiana in there.
There is odds on heats per heats too, but that was just for main event. And so we are here in Africa. We're in Namibia, Mahina's first time in Africa. Surf bender to start the trip, but we're gonna get her on some safaris and see some animals. We surfed huge Donkey Bay the last few days, and conditions were rough. It was onshore, but there were some smoker barrels for sure over the few days. It was more mileage of paddling and walking than there was of barrels, but we managed to find something. So those videos will be coming out very soon. We finally have a day to rest and do some editing, and so
I'm looking at
stay
women's
tuned.
Heat 1 real quick, and it's Molly Picklum and Katie Simmers surfing against each other.
Non-elimination.
Oh, none of those. Kali Vashal, wow. These are stacked heats.
All the heats are stacked now because the cut happened, and so pretty much because a lot of the competition is cut out, every heat are like a super heats. And this is the final event before the top 5 go on to trestles.
Sick.
So we'll put a link up, we'll put the odds up so you can have
Can I show
yourself,
this?
and we'll put a link. Yeah, we'll put that up on the screen though.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll put the forecast up too so you guys can see, and a link if you guys want to do some betting. If not, comment your picks below.
Wait, this
and
is
we'll
actually
see who
fun.
wins.
I
Yeah.
actually want to go through each
I know.
heat. Shoots.